either in these early bans or in early picks. Evelynn, I think the jury is still pretty firmly out, but Moon does love that kind of champion, and we did see a successful Evelynn story just last game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It seems like while maybe not quite as powerful, if you're comfortable on the champion, you know how to play it, it's still great at what it does, finding backlines and killing them. That's exactly what Wiggly did, and like we said, Galio, hey, he's meta now.
We found him, and I mean, taking the Camille Galio combo away, I think a good move, but as Camille is the last ban there from 100 Thieves, but Galio, I mean, it just feels like this is becoming the norm now.
Yeah.
When in doubt, pick Galio. That's with, I mean...
Did you enjoy your 2 weeks off from Galio? Because he's back already. And the Jarvan taken away.
I think you need to take this pick, actually.
Yeah.
Which I actually like about kind of strong blue side picks. When you have a pick that is potentially as strong as Galio that teams want to prioritize, basically forcing your opponent's hand on the next rotation or they gift you over such a strong combo. Jarvan's such a versatile jungler, you can fit him in almost any comp, and he's so good with Galio that this is the kind of power drafting that is kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like you said, Jarvan slots in anywhere, but sometimes you don't necessarily want him. You have another fight you're going for, and as soon as the Galio is locked in, it's like, well, if we're going Jarvan most likely.
Exactly. So Tristana maybe joins that as well. Pretty solid 80 carry. A lot of options available. Again, Kog'Maw maybe is shying away from the bot lane given the Relic Shield changes that came in for this patch, but a lot of options here, and Xayah's going to be the one, and Rakan's going to be the next. That's very easy for Clash Gaming Academy.
It's interesting because we had seen a fair amount of Xayah and some Rakan bans, but we had not yet seen them paired up together, and so we get Lover's Lane back finally. I actually love Rakan. It's a little annoying to watch the flash RWs that instantly CC and knock somebody up, but I do appreciate the kind of flashy play that he's known for.
Certainly agree. As Corki back here in Academy. Again, we talked about Galio kind of creeping throughout the global meta and showing a lot of his faces. Now finally moving here to NA perhaps, at least in Academy. Corki's already been in Academy, but no one else has really been willing to play the champion.
Yeah, LCK a little bit, but other than that, not a ton of Corki. It's something that I expect to see more of on this patch, but he is a good matchup into Galio. No surprise to see it in particular here. Really good against those kind of like auto-pushing laners, and Corki does a good job keeping up with them, can get his package, make his own plays, and then scales very well into the late game. Interestingly here, with the Rakan pick, it did stop Moon from being able to take his Zac there, though. So that was kind of what I was thinking was, okay, you're forced to take Galio, but Moon's more than happy, or you're forced to take Jarvan to separate from the Galio.
But Moon's more than happy to have Zac.
Right, but because they prioritize Rakan over it, he does lose that champion.
And look, even another takeaway here. I mean, Rengar, not the most popular champion, but certainly a Moon special, and also combos very well with Galio.
Doesn't combo with Galio? Because arguably, Kha'Zix combos with Galio. He's an assassin who wants damage reduction. So there's a lot of things that work with the Galio pick, but Moon receiving a fair amount of bans now over the course of this game. 4 jungle bans total for 100 Thieves.
Yep, and there's 2 support bans on the other side for Clutch, taking Taric and Braum away. That is going to cut the options here for Wyan, and again, we are looking to the bot lane here of 100 Thieves Academy to maybe start stepping up a little more for the team and pushing them through those tough mid and late games.
Yeah, Tahm Kench still up. They actually go with the Alistar. Pretty good matchup against the Rakan, but Rakan does have that small sustain advantage a little bit when the poking available. But all things considered, pretty close. But Kha'Zix, like we were saying, getting hovered right now. Most likely pick for Moon, knowing his play style and what champions he likes to be effective on.
Yep, and again, is one of the veterans here on this team, has LCS experience, was always an aggressive jungler, so looking to, again, continue to bolster the resume here in Academy.
And more back into his queue because they felt like with the R-Max, it was doing a little bit too much damage because how consistently you could get those passive procs off.
Well, there's Ornn also making another appearance, and that means Gnar looks like the last pick there for 100 Thieves. So haven't seen Ornn all day long, but again, did also receive some additional nerfs, has kind of been knocked down a few pegs, but still seems like a fairly strong champion. And you know what you're getting with Ornn. If you want a good teamfight ultimate, Ornn's probably best in class for top laners. Yeah,
he's definitely the best straight tank in the top lane. There's some things like Gnar who can kind of go between the two, but if you want just pure beef top laner, that's Ornn.
And you know what? When you have an aggressive jungle like Moon, I think I'll take it. Again, front lane to help out your carries. Plenty of good engage tools. I like what both teams have put together here, and I'm actually mostly excited to see Rakan here. Again, a champion that has seen a lot more attention than I would have expected, given the shift back for the support meta here. Kind of curious to see exactly how it all shakes out, but Vulcan has been looking good with Eclipse. Going to have to show us a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like Clutch Gaming, or excuse me, Clutch Gaming Academy's comps generally. It's just so much dive potential, but it does have that kind of like one range threat issue that you can sometimes run into where if you don't pull that dive off very well, 100 Thieves has great backline that will be able to punish you very hard for missing that engage. You know, like we were saying, Corki scales extremely hard. Tristana obviously scales very hard. Alistar and Gnar can kind of peel, all things considered, despite they're mostly known for their engages. If you do all clump up on top of each other, Narvin is a great combo as well, and you can kind of just CC everyone who is on top of your carries.
Well, having another quick check-in with these runes early on, it looks like junglers have spotted each other, but otherwise a very defensive spread across the river. We have 1, 2, 3 unsealed spellbooks here, so both supports have it, and Max Trobo kind of with the expected rune take there as well. No Electrocute for the Galio, though, Sun with the spellbook instead.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, since this is the first time on Rakan, want to see what he goes with. No surprise, as a playmaker, takes that unsealed spellbook. Flash Ghost is probably something that would help him out, given that the W move speed actually scales with your own move speed, so it's kind of nice to be able to go Flash Ghost. We'll see if it's great for that ability to take that in lane. You know, you can take Aftershock and get like slightly better trading, but I think
Boo. Nobody likes Ignite. Sorry, nobody likes Aftershock supports, Mark.
Hey,
everybody wants to see blood.
Hey, Aftershock supports usually mean that they're going to play aggressive. I don't mind.
Formerly, it was the damaging keys
yeah.
for supports, but alas, shift in direction for that rune on this patch, I believe. But all fun and games aside, looks like Moon is just sweeping through the jungle. Have to see if he does start the gank or if we do see a bit of farming from both these junglers, but I'm kind of expecting Kitsuo to get at least aggressive as far as looking for information. In fact, might have quite the angle here on mid, but I think right now just trying to find Moon, and at least from his early inspection, can likely deduce that Moon is on the left-hand side of the map.
Yeah, goes in early, sees camps down, puts a ward. No Moon means most likely top side, like you were saying. And I do think this could be a bit of a slower game. We have mostly pushing lanes that don't really interact that aggressively. Bot lane might have the most intense trading that you're going to see. So maybe that stuff goes down there. And anytime you have Galio at 6, of course, things come online.
I think in general, Galio, who's seen all 3 games so far today, is going to be slowing things down quite a bit. So actually getting some counter juggling done here onto the Krugs, but Moon doing the same on the Raptors, and Vulcan's going to find him.
Not going to do anything about it, though, because...
Yeah, Wyan's here.
Yeah, Wyan covering, making sure he's safe to do that. Moon more than happy to take these Raptors away as a result. A lot of jungle focus early on.
Looks like Sun going back pretty early. Took some damage from Linsanity. Nope. Gonna bait me. No recall just yet.
Surprised to see him take Minion Dematerializer as well on Galio. I mean, you are in the Inspiration Tree, so you have a lot of runes to pick from. And the Minion Dematerializer is very good for keeping up with pushing, but you know, Corki doesn't super outpush Galio anyways, so a little surprised to see that.
Yeah.
But that's also why he's burning through them so quickly. Sometimes it's more conservative how people try to use those.
Sun though still again. Copping damage there from Linsanity. Corki pretty good when you just have something to shoot, whether it's a minion in front of you to last hit, or it's a big tanky champion that you can slowly gun down. As a result, Sun will be forced back, but CS looking fine. This is kind of the general credo of Galio. Even though you might lose lane, might feel some pressure, just cue the wave and walk away.
Yep.
Hasn't changed.
That's one of the, like you said, the reasons that sometimes it feels like the meta slows down with him. He does become very, very active post-6 in how he can go follow up on plays, but he makes the mid lane basically a non-factor for the enemy team often.
Good combo there from Wyan, jumping there as well from Akara, but a good double knock-up there from Eclipse. As Kitsua is going to try and make it happen here. Eclipse is low, great flash up, but that's not enough. The follow flash was massive from the Jarvan, and it's Triss that gets first blood.
Really beautiful play there out of Kitsuo. Able to follow the flash out of Eclipse, gets the kill. Good aggression outside 100 Thieves bot lane, starting it off. But yeah, I thought Eclipse was going to be able to get out of there, but huge reaction.
Well, let's this one again. Nice combo here from Wyan to start it off.
Good double knock-up by Vulcan to try and keep him safe. He starts getting low, flashes the EQ, but the follow after was just beautiful. Did get rooted up under turret, took some turret shots, but was away just fine. And Eclipse now down all his summoners. Gonna have to play pretty defensive from here on out.
Yep, I mean, has no stopwatch actually, so never mind. In 20 seconds will not be safe from a regank if Kitsua wants to revisit that.
What is he thinking?
On the meanwhile, Wyan does have his. Yes, so that'll be up soon, so could do the other thing, or the thing I like to see with stopwatches, which is actually be aggressive with them. I have to see if on 100 Thieves Academy do want to try again in the bot side. Like we said, Rakara and Wyan, some of the better looking players early on in the 100 Thieves Academy team, so From the early start like this can certainly get things snowballing.
We'll have to see how that snowball goes, though. Alistar, a great diver at 6, and Corki with package can be very scary, but you're doing it into a Galio. Well, like you said, no stopwatch, so maybe it is possible given that they have far more on the side of 100 Thieves.
I just like that sentiment. There's no stopwatch. It is possible.
We can kill someone under turret.
Well, looks like Wave's in a bad spot for Eclipse, so he's going to have to back off. Rikara doing his best to deny some fun, but it is tricky with Tristana E. And Kitsua up to the top side here, going to take down his Krugs and breeze on pretty quickly towards level 6. Increase that gank power even further as Insanity continuing to get pushed in by the early blasting one, but does have a Sheen for his own set of harassments. So again, apart from the early action, things slow down, but definitely look for Galio and Jarvan on Clutch and 100 Thieves respectively to maybe get things going as these first 10 minutes heat up.
Yeah, Sun, formerly ZX, bit of a solo queue star before coming into the Academy League, and no surprise to see him go with that blasting wand first. Get damage, only damage. A lot of people start building the components for completing their Hextech Proto Belt or something like that, but he's just going straight for the damage first.
Yep, I like it. Aggressive stuff here as Kitsua had a bit of a problem with the red buff, but looks like he's fixed that error. He's got very grumpy and reset and hit him straight in the face, but everything's A-okay. And I think Eclipse also just wanted to play safe again. No stopwatch, but level 6 will help. There's another bit of aggression here. Comes out. No Jarvan this time, but maybe not needed. Why? Does get the flash order for the stun. Eclipse is low. Still ignited, but not enough to finish it off.
Yeah, I think that was well played by Vulcan to make sure that he was able to get some CC down on there. And the stun that was coming from Alistar was just not quite fast enough. He would have liked to have landed the jump on top of a stunned Eclipse, get that extra damage in, blow that E proc up. They are not able to get that all in, and as a result, Lion loses his flash and ignite, so probably going to be a little while before they make another attempt down there.
Yeah, Eclipse also going to have ult in, I think, 1 creep's time, so going to be a lot trickier here. But the success early on, Moon and Kitsua, though, a meeting there just towards that right side Scuttle Crab. Kitsua gets the Electrocute proc, with Golden Aegis helping out, and looks like he'll win the battle for that Crab, at least this time around. Again, though, Sun is getting a lot of very consistent pushes here onto the Corki. So can leave the lane, but not when he's getting ganked. He's going to have to leave and not die, but walks away pretty effortlessly there.
Good decision by Kitsua to not go too hard there. Moon is in the area, and if he flag and drags in, he might get baited into a fight he doesn't really want. Instead, just getting vision control, attempting to track that Galio. Like we said, very important to do between levels 6 and 11 before that ult range extends much.
As a result, Kitsua just going to walk back to his own jungle. That does take the Scrying Plant away from Clutch Gaming. Again, Eclipse just farming things up. Very low on resources here. That's a pretty big AD discrepancy. You can see Rikara really milking that early first blood with a BF sword versus 2 long swords. I'm not good at math, but I don't think 2 long swords equal a bigger sword.
Nope, doesn't quite work like that.
Sometimes it feels like that in League. You just start combining items together and they turn into the hats and books and swords.
The longsword builds where you end up buying like 10 longswords over the course of the game.
Yeah, you get a hammer and like, I don't know, a fist thing.
Yeah.
A dagger, actually.
Of swords.
That's probably the big. Get a smaller knife.
I think that the book ones were always the weirdest, where a gun becomes a book. Back when you
back down towards, maybe a dive is on the menu, but again, tough. With Eclipse having his summons back and the ultimate now ready to deter any potential aggression. And
good for 100 Thieves not to go for that. All summoners up, Galio with the push in the mid lane, and Eclipse with 6 can easily ult out of that attempt. So very good decision for 100 Thieves not to go for that.
See where the attention is though, onto that bottom side. Kitsua has been there consistently, just looking for Moon, harassing down there and giving Rikara and YN space to shove with their Tristana. Kaizen though has spotted Moon, who's going somewhere. Looks like he hopped over the pit. And as a result, pressure there from 100 Thieves. Again, that bottom lane with Kitsua constantly down there applying pressure will convert into the first Drake as they grab the ocean for themselves. Not bad in a landing phase that's been quite passive.
Yeah, it's so passive, I might think that the Ocean Drake isn't actually going to do that much. There's not too many trades going on. It'll be more for topping off mana pools on the side of 100 Thieves. As you can tell, mostly just pushing in the top lane, pushing in the mid lane. Bot lane, like we said, the only place where there's any substantial trading going on.
Well, first package there from Insanity just used to clear the wave. So unfortunately, no play for him. And kind of cool to see this from Sun, actually. We talked about the blasting one earlier. I've seen some Proto Belts, seen a lot of Leandries early on. Morello, of course, another option. But Rod of Age is not something we usually associate with Galio. But different catalyst items. See a lot of Abyssal Mask. This is kind of the other side of that here.
And I can definitely understand in this game why Abyssal Mask does not feel particularly useful. Lots of AD threats on the side of 100 Thieves. Not much AP on your side either. So yeah, Abyssal Mask not needed. But like I said, surprised to not see that Proto Belt early on. It's what a lot of AP Galios are going now. Gives you that little extra burst of mobility to follow up on plays, as well as a extra bit of burst damage.
See if Sun gets even tankier, but again, all these AP-based builds do leave you very threatening, but a little squishier than normal. And Moon, I think you might have noticed that Kitsua made a bit of an oopsie, just sneaking through these brushes with the evolved ultimate. Kitsua, though, gets that one right. Flag and drags out to safety.
Uh-oh, teleport coming in behind Moon. They want to punish this.
Oh, Moon again goes invis, going to try and sneak his way out, gets spotted. Yep, knocked up there. Very difficult to react to. Moon going to try and flash out of the way. Jarvan ulti trapped all the teammates in, but Sun also forced out. Flashes again after the block Justice Punch, so nice there as Vulcan also roams up in onto Y and pops the ulti, gets the Sun. Here comes On, gonna try and seal it off. Max Trophy just straight up gets a kill onto Kitsua with the charging ball. YN does get Moon, but he trades his life for it.
Crazy teleports coming in from the bot laners. It leaves a 1v1 down here. Eclipse getting junked out, almost loses that.
Has his ulti, but YN bent all his cooldowns and didn't quite get the kill. Still, Xayah is low and likely going to lose a 1v1 here to Rikara with both his summoners available. But yeah, let's watch this again. I love Unsealed Spellbook.
Yeah, you see the teleport coming in, you're like, that's not Gnar. Mine getting very aggressive, but that's what we're talking about, why Kha'Zix loves Galio. Gives that damage reduction, lets him live there. Sun himself getting pretty low, but here comes the counter teleport by Vulcan, able to solo out onto YN, and as well as the collapse on the top side by Max Trobo. Barely snipes out Kitsua for the damage, and Moon got maybe a little more aggressive than he needed to.
Probably didn't need to be there for that secure, but pays with it. Pays for it, sorry, with his own life. But, you know, he's a particular kind of player. Kind of player that builds Warrior and Moby Boots and ganks mid lane instantly as Linsanity forced to flash away.
A little surprised to see the flash there. I would guess he was not aware that Sun's flash was down, because you always need to be the first to flash when against the Galio if he's charging his W, and he does have flash because that's an instant release on top of you and you're taunted in. But if Linsanity knew that flash was down, there wasn't much more of a follow-up threat he was worried about.
No, Moon continuing to take his tour of the lanes with his Mobies. Ganking top quickly, a bit of harassment there onto Kaizen. Turret's getting low there in the top side. See if Clutch can secure that first juicy turret goal, but the same is true here on the bottom side for 100 Thieves. Rikara dangerously close to taking this turret already.
Feels like they might actually have been able to pressure that a little bit harder. The Galio ult was up, or down, excuse me.
YN does get out of the charm, popping his ulti. Max Trobo TP down as well, but doesn't have his ulti back off cooldown just yet. And very suddenly, the play dissipates.
Yeah, that was a bit of a random teleport by both teams there.
That's a feature of Unsealed Spellbook being everywhere. There's a lot of random teleports.
I'm not used to having teleport. It's actually the top laners, though. They should be the most familiar with it. It was a good posture by 100 Thieves. The Galio was rotating down, but like I said, we didn't have teleport quite yet, so you could look at that play. But yeah, as a result, Clutch Gaming tried to teleport behind. 100 Thieves try and answer, and nothing ends up happening.
Yep.
Map reset.
And I think the total product of that play is that 100 Thieves will have once again pressure onto these turrets and another chance to try and grab that first turret gold. Moon even getting invaded. Insanity's roaming out of his lane as well. Sun trying to be around as Moon does secure his big Raptor to try and help down to this bottom lane. Sun with level 2 ulti, so pretty good distance on it as Moon again stalking Kitsua through his own jungle. Every time he walks in a brush, popping that ultimate bit of stealth.
Makes Kha'Zix so fast around the map. It's almost similar to Evelynn. You have the Moby Boots, you get around the map very quick. You're also invisible, so if you time things correctly, you can get through brushes sometimes unseen. Can make it very difficult, like that right there.
Does get spotted just on the very end, but isn't really needed. Max Trobo has enough pressure in the 1v1 himself, and that will give first turret gold over barely in time. As Rikara and crew just missing out on a bit of bonus gold. And not stopping though, I mean, despite losing that, still get the gold, equalize the turrets, and Statikk BF Sword Rikara certainly primed to farm up pretty aggressively here in this game. up a healthy amount of CS, looking at 25, maybe more. Well, it looks like a recall is being taken, so you can kind of see where the power is weighted. Top side here for Clutch Gaming, 100 Thieves back in that bottom lane. And that makes sense given where they put their early attention.
Absolutely, and from here on out, it's how well can 100 Thieves kind of keep up with the map mobility that's going to come in for Clutch Gaming. Moon, as we were just talking about, has crazy mobility on the map with those Moby boots and his ult passive, and now the turrets are starting to drop. A lot more angles are open up to gank onto people, as well as the fact that you have the Galio who can come in over the top. So now that the turrets are dropping, it puts a little bit more pressure on 100 Thieves side laners to stay alive. And
pretty big convergence point here as well. Infernal Drake is up as the second Drake of the game. 100 Thieves got the first Ocean, but Clutch are more than willing to fight for this one.
And they do have a pretty good 5v5 comp. This will be pretty execution-based, both teams with big frontliners and engage tools.
Yeah, again, both AD carries kind of in a similar spot as well. Rikara not able to farm up to that Infinity Edge just yet, but 100 Thieves will start the Drake. Ulti hits 2. That's only the front line that really found a big flank attempt there from Moon, but he pops a stopwatch there as Sun charges in with the ultimate. Now looking for a big taunt, finds a couple there. Rikara though, left as Eclipse finally takes a Kitsu. Why take it down to it? He goes into stasis. The ulti out flying as that's pop onto Sun. He goes down to Y and he's picking up kills as the Alistar and then Sanity alive for long enough to take out the Rakan. 100 Thieves. A deft win of this team fight here. And now Max Strobo's just caught. He popped his stopwatch and just dies. Bit of an oopsie perhaps there. Max Strobo fighting back, but the Drake and the kills go to 100 Thieves.
A minor advantage for 100 Thieves turns into a big win when they're able to secure that Dragon. A 3 for 2 as well. And a really, really crazy engage by Moon there. Had the Galio to support him. They're trying to start things off, but a really nice reaction by 100 Thieves. Stalled out the follow-up that came in from Vulcan. He actually got stunned up trying to combo with Sun. So that gave the 100 Thieves backline enough time to kind of melt through part of that front line, as well as the fact that Linsanity was kind of off on the side the entire time, not really a part of the main focus of that fight, gave a lot of free hits to the Corki. And they also grabbed the mid turret off the back of that one as well, so a pretty huge advantage for them.
Good conversion there by 100 Thieves. We'll watch this one again. I mean, the Ornalt looks good. Moon's going in.
Yep, the Ornalt kicks things off. Moon comes in the backside, using stealth as well as his stopwatch to stay alive, and Sun wants to go in, and right there, when you saw the flash W coming in for Vulcan, he actually was getting swiped by Gnar at the same time, so that cut that off. All of the stopwatches pop, and this whole time, you see up on the top side, Linsanity unfocused, starts chunking out the backline members of Clutch Gaming, and the front side of Clutch was also getting melted down by Rikara, so just too much backline damage, and the interrupted engage that was hoping to kind of wombo combo 100 Thieves never really worked out.
Yep. The result, Max Strobo caught in the pit with no way out, goes down. Clutch, though, do get the Rift Herald, so trading objectives somewhat, looking to try and equalize that turret score. But Rikara is kind of the talk of the town. At
DC potential, it's really about how quickly your backline comes online, and the fact that you're basically a whole item up on the enemy AD carry becomes very significant in a game like this if the engages don't kill that Tristana quickly.
Yeah, 100 Thieves continuing to play up with the tempo, trying to take out the last outer turret here. Clutch, though, 2 in with the defense. Moon also just behind his duo lane, in case he wants to get involved. Max Strobo chilling out here on the bot side. Aizen's starting to get that pressure going with the Frozen Mallet on the way and the Black Cleaver completed. And despite, again, having that global stun, able to move around with either the ult or the teleport, really just feels like not a lot to do except react for the next few minutes.
Yeah, so much vision control up in that top side. We say how great Moon is in situations where the map start dropping, or the turrets start dropping, but there's just too much vision for him to find an angle on that bot lane that's pushing with no turret. Max Strobo wants an all-in on Kaizen. Nice jump away from the second part of the ultimate.
Yep. Good little crunch, and kind of a defensive ulti more than anything, but that one's pretty uneventful, and big cooldown loss for Max Strobo. Even if he wants to TP in to the next engagement, gonna have to wait till the ulti comes back up.
Yeah, not quite at the point where that ultimate becomes a 50-second cooldown or whatever it is. As well as I believe Ornn got hit with the nerf on that, so it's a little bit more in line with other tank ults.
Definitely quite a bit longer, especially in the earlier ranks. So Max Strobo is gonna have to wait till level 16.
Ooh.
Rikara, ooh. Nice immune there by Eclipse of the Buster shot, so an ultimate trade there by the marksman, but again, enough pressure to try and let something happen here with that top outer turret, as what is happening here?
I don't know why Linsanity did not go in onto Eclipse there after he blew his ultimate. They had good vision control. Max Strobo tries to go for some kind of reach around play, but
Yeah.
nothing coming out from that one. Just
ganking his own lane after using his ultimate.
yeah, just two tanks trying to have some fun down there. Nothing really matters.
All right, well, looks like also backing off from this top outer turret. Again, kind of a very conservative play here from 100 Thieves, but second Zeal done for Akara. 2 items also for Insanity. I mean, as far as marksmen go in this game, between the Corki and the Tristana, 100 Thieves have 2 carries at scale just exceptionally well the more and more items they get.
And this is what we were talking about, where the one range champion on the side of Clutch Gaming will have a hard time competing with the double, basically scaling backline of 100 Thieves. I understand 100 Thieves thinking that they can take it slow. They have the Infernal, they have all this stuff, but I hope they keep the pressure up. Insanity was a little gun shy there after getting the ult out of Eclipse. Easily could have valked forward and maybe gotten the kill. They did have enough vision control as well that he should have known that, there wasn't too much backup coming from behind him. It was the fact that he had his own team supporting him.
Yep, next. The Drake is a big one as well. Second Infernal perhaps for 100 Thieves, spawning in a minute 15. But the setup should be all okay, as you hate to see this happen. The old base Rift Herald. The long con never works out for Shelly.
Shelly's got to lose some weight, So send her up that lane all the way.
Well,
she's been fed too many treats.
Bit of exercise, always nice, but out of this objective.
And of course, Clutch Gaming not really having a great scene. About 20% damage on that turret.
6 out of 10, right?
Yeah. 6 out of 10. That is very gracious.
What's your score, Mark?
On the Rift Herald usage?
No, on Shelly's performance. It's kind of like Olympic diving.
Yeah, it's not Shelly's fault she got spawned.
No,
right, of course. Yeah, so yeah, I'll give you a 6 out of 10.
All right, not bad, not bad. Good, not great. On the
Didn't stick the landing.
Shelly. No, it's tough when you're the Rift Herald.
Yeah. Getting shot at your whole way.
Only got 1 move. No one gives you a board to dive off.
She's got glowy claw move.
And head smashy move.
Yeah. Max Strobo again.
Yeah, trouble. Smashed into the wall and knocked into the wall. Up and 100 Thieves first onto the scene. Max Strobo taking damage. Galio, needs to prevent that stun. Charging in as a counter ult here from On could spell disaster for the 100 Thieves. Kinzawa goes down, a big taunt there from Galio again, preventing Wine from going in, but he's pretty big. Stun goes down to Kaizen. Nice knockback there from the headbutt. Now Insanity, not gun-shy this time, shooting into the backline of Clutch Gaming Academy. Moon, though, looking for the assassination. Oh, goodbye! No, Insanity lives with the root on the other end, could seal the deal. Ult there, saved by Xayah. Very well used to take down the Corki. That's still Rikara going in, gets on a killing spree, takes down Max Strobo. Vulcan, the next target, the easy double there as Rikara finally breaks that stopwatch. Root back in on by Eclipse onto Kaizen. Only Rikara still the threat and alive.
Crazy skirmish down there with what would look like was going to be a pretty clean pickoff onto Max Strobo. You see the power of pure tank Ornn, able to live for a very long time, as well as the support that can come in from Galio. Gives Pastry Times vocal cords a workout, and that's what you're going to get in a game with 3 tanks on each side.
Yep, that's kind of the fun we've been experiencing, but the fun is starting to stop a little here for Clutch, or at least slow. 100 Thieves looking for this this Infernal Drake. 100 Thieves, yep, 3 Drakes, making 2 Infernals in a row. Sun TP's in far too late for this action. And 100 Thieves just whisked on by.
Yep, don't have any minion waves to really play with too well here either, so not much coming from that. We'll take another look at this. Max Strobo cut off, a good collapse coming in, and it feels like they just anticipate that they're going to do a little bit more damage than they realize once that Galio ultimate comes in. The flash forward by Rikara, the Buster shot away, trying to time all that nicely, does not get the fade away. Leaves Kitsuo a little bit too far forward, but they still have such a health advantage overall, as well as both carries being untouched. Kaizen in Mininar form as well, basically being another backline member. They try to chase forward, and Moon thinks he has a good turn opportunity. Doesn't quite get as much damage out as he thought. It forces the side of Eclipse kind of flash forward to get that ultimate, but the rest of the team overextended, giving him that extra backup that he needed to get out of there.
Yep.
Nice play by Rikara, nice time stopwatch. And they all get out. But once again, another 3 for 2, very, very scrappy fight.
Grabs a bunch of resets, though. And again, as we look back down the items of the carries on 100 Thieves Academy, 3 done for Trist, and that's an Infinity Edge starting up for the Insanity with that crit cloak now done. Moon again, finding the Jarvan, but too tanky with the Nightspell, Cinderhulk, and 2 Ruby Crystals. Not quite enough lethality just yet for this Kha'Zix to really rip through some of the more robust members of 100 Thieves.
not many targets for him either. Both Corki and Tristan are super mobile. You see how hard it can be to engage on them out of nowhere. And during this whole time, Kaizen's just very happy split pushing down here in the bot lane.
Yep, this is one of Na's specialties. Taking the Krugs not so much, but has some time. Going on a tour of the enemy jungle.
Yeah, it doesn't have great ward coverage down there. Just playing it safe. You can understand that mentality. Does not want to get picked off. And then there's a part of 100 Thieves comp that we didn't really touch on very much, that they do have very good 1-3-1 setup. You know, Clutch Gaming does have the Galio to kind of cover that, but Corki, if you get very far ahead, you can start chipping these turrets away. Tristana can stay in the mid lane, and then you have Gnar down the bot side.
And again, it's always tough with these kind of global comps, or at least, you know, a champion like Galio. When the map is closed, it just feels so difficult to really get anything done. And Clutch have a very, I'd say, disconnected team comp. I mean, it makes sense with a player like Moon wanting to be more aggressive, being enabled on a champion like Kha'Zix, but 100 Thieves got something a little more straightforward, and they're sneaking away this Baron, although certainly the information is there. Not that sneaky.
No, I think Kitsuo, when he got knocked back by the Baron a little bit, might have shown on that Scuttle Crab vision, because there was a lot of pings that went down there instantly, and you saw Clutch Gaming react. So they most likely spotted that one out. Cute attempt. Might have been watching the broadcast earlier and saw the similar move.
I like that move.
Yeah, Optic looked good when they did that.
Not working out this time. Eclipso getting stunned up, and Ricard is just letting it rip on the Trist. Here's a TP in. Oh, not coming. Khan trying to knock them off. Gets two on the front side. In fact, that might be the turnaround there for Clutch. Ult there forced out by Eclipse, and that's a snipe in onto Kitsuo. Does go down. Eclipse getting credit for that kill. Insanity low as well as Sun. Running great defense.
Ricard, I believe, had some very curious target priority there. When the Tristana, or excuse me, the Xayah was CC'd up, he was actually hitting the Ornn. And there's not much of a threat for why you couldn't have moved a couple units forward more and hit the priority target. And then at the very end there, when he had the angle on Eclipse, wasn't actually able to get the damage down to finish him off. So we'll take another look at this one. Keep your eyes on Ricard here. Hitting max Trobo when you could potentially get onto Eclipse. The team gets a little over-aggressive. They're not super tanky yet, and they're able to get chunked out as a result. And then once again, Ricard down the bot side here. Not quite getting the auto attacks in that he needs to finish off Eclipse. Well, Insanity barely able to live as well. So it started out looking like a great fight for the side of 100 Thieves, not actually able to finish off anyone.
Yeah, execution not quite there. And we'll kind of reset things once more. 100 Thieves still up about 2,000 gold, but Clutch Gaming are kind of getting things going. Eclipse certainly needs a few more items, but Sun is getting there. And Max Trobo, nothing else, he's extremely tanky. The 3 items now completed. And will only get stronger as the game goes on. We may look to Clutch to lean on this on to kind of open and probably win these fights as well.
Yeah, it's going to be the primary frontliner, the only true tank as Galio, like we said, much more AP focused now, which, you know, comes with its trade-offs. Not as great as a frontliner in the mid game, but does bring a lot more damage in the late game, so you don't fall off quite as hard should this game go late. If Jarvan and Gnar stand on top of your queue for a substantial period of time, you're actually going to do a ton of damage to them. So he does have good frontline capabilities, or excuse me, frontline melting capabilities later in the game.
Again, kind of grouping things up here. 30 minutes through, looking probably for our first Baron of this game, although the 4th Drake will spawn in 45 seconds. That will be the last non-Elder Dragon in this one. But 100 Thieves can add a second Ocean to their collection if they so choose.
You would expect so.
Why not?
Yeah, you already have
Especially
3.
if it's free to take.
We'll have one more.
Good enough, certainly. Has got the damage to do so. Ricard finishing his 4th item, and then Sanity itching closer towards that Infinity Edge, which I kind of feel like is maybe the big sign to say, hey, let's go. Never mind, this is it. Moon gonna get chunked down. Galio ult damage reduction enough there. Now the turnaround. Kitsuo melts.
One thing you got to be worried about for the side of 100 Thieves tanks, a lot of them have a way in but no way out. Jarvan went pretty far there after they got the flash out of Moon. He did not back away with the rest of his team, and Sun comes flying in with his ultimate, provides enough CC to let the collapsing Clutch Gaming team find the kill back. And this is a couple times now that 100 Thieves have tried to make a play and it's backfired.
Yeah, and just as far as the front lines go, yes, they do have a pretty good one here for 100 Thieves, but haven't really built that tanky just yet. able to take him down. And with 2 dead, including the jungle, although Kitsu is about back up, Clutch Gaming is starting the Baron.
Yeah, no reason not to push this one as far as you can. There's only 3 members alive, both carries though, so you have to be careful.
Insanity gets taunted up, but again, Sun not that tanky. Return fire is there. Sun goes down to Rikara, and that's going to have to be it for Clutch. They book it off the Baron. 100 Thieves maybe could finish it, but Moon is going to try and find an assassination, throws out the spikes, but the situation resets.
Good patience there by Clutch. Not to try and re-engage. Could have gone very bad. But a good flash forward by Linsanity. See that aggression. Make sure that they cannot do that Baron. Well played by both teams there, all things considered. Clutch Gaming have an advantage and are trying desperately to get back in this game, but 100 Thieves hold out.
Certainly do, and that Infinity Edge I talked about is now done for the Corki.
Yes, that is a very strong Corki now.
Didn't have it when this started though.
No, did not. And you see, despite that, Sun still drops relatively quickly. They pop him, and then without him alive, it's very hard for them to walk forward into the Alistar, basically being the best frontline member left alive, aside from Max Trobo. It's risky to run in there, and despite how strong the backline of 100 Thieves Academy is right now, there's still plenty of room to go. There's 2 full items that can be completed by this Corki, an item and a half to go for the Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, QSS for Rikara, so at least has the utility. So kind of capped until Scimitar is online. But certainly 100 Thieves, I think, realizing more and more that they've got an edge here in this game. You noted early in the game, Linsanity seemed a little hesitant to pull the trigger on that flash, now playing a lot more aggressive and kind of knowing that, you know, my tanks are getting there. Got a big lead and able to really leverage these items. At this point, again, not that tanky except for Max Trobo on the side of Clutch. You can just kind of shoot whoever's in front of you, and that will likely be good enough.
Yeah, Kaizen should be more aggressive here. You basically know the entire team's up there dealing with your main 4-man core, as they were seeing with Sanity.
Yeah, a little late, but that was the right idea for sure, as Tristana gets that first crit off the rapid fire cannon and chunks Little Moon down. Kaizen does collect the turret. They get 4 turrets to 1 now as Clutch losing ground and fast in this game. And 100 Thieves know that with all that pressure, eventually they have to give up control around the Baron. 100 Thieves just patiently setting up.
Get better and better vision control. They have almost complete control of the river now. A couple wards snuck in behind them and on weird angles, but for the most part, Baron is clean. Get this mid-wave pushed in, and you might want to start baiting. It's unlikely Kaizen can do too much in the 1v1 split push versus Max Trobo, so you're going to need to find a pick off here.
Yeah, and even if you can, it's going to take a long time. Yeah, as you can see, Frozen Mallet, despite all the good 1v1 busting items that Kaizen has, just takes a little too long.
Interesting to see what Rakans are building these days. Still going with that Ardent Sensor.
Everyone's favorite, 2017 vintage monthly.
Yeah, but it got nerfed.
It did.
So I am still admittedly a little surprised to see this. This sneak attempt, not the sneakiest of sneak attempts, as they did see Rikara running over there, but they bought enough time.
Yeah, I mean, you have your ideas about approximate Baron damage, but they've just been on it maybe a little longer than expected. TP in, here's Max Trobo. Long range ulti incoming. Kitsua caught in the pit, but he's got friends to help him out, and a flash just in case, but flag and directs to safety, and pretty swift steal from the Thieves.
Yeah, not bad at all. Like we said, it was kind of telegraphed a little bit, but hey, you just need enough of a jump start to be able to grab it. They do that, and they have a ton of Baron damage as well with double Infernal Corki Tristana. If you are not 100% on top of those contests on the side of Clutch Gaming, you will lose those Barons.
Yeah, there's the Ocean Drake also up for grabs. Clutch Gaming, I think, starting to realize how troublesome the situation is becoming. They're 5,000 gold down right now. Their carries are still finding their items, and it's just so tough to kill this backline in time before they just completely wreck your front line.
And it's going to get even worse from here on out. You're going to be pinned underneath your turrets now. While you do have decent wave clear between the Galio and Xayah, you don't have any way of really poking back. So while you're wave clearing, Corki's going to be shooting missiles in, Nara's got boomerangs, and it's going to be very hard for them to hold on to these turrets without just pulling the trigger and trying to find and engage.
Well, 2 minutes and 15 seconds or thereabouts. Let's see how 100 Thieves look on the power play. Something I always like to look at as far as teams' closing speeds go. When you have an advantage, how hard do you push it? 100 Thieves, I think, a little nervous to maybe get too frisky, given how the early Academy results have been a bit shaky, but this is really the time to strike and give yourself a strong win, as base check's not the way to start it. Kitsuo, yeah, gonna get knocked down by the Ornalt. Moon jumps on that chance.
Yep.
And pull off the play, call it off.
Yeah, like you said, how do they look on the power play? Not great thus far. They were trying to set up a 1-3-1, I believe, but Kitsuo kind of went in there without the rest of his team in support. Yet Rikara and Wyan were on their way down. If he just showed a little bit more patience, they could start moving into the bot side jungle to start getting vision control to set up that 1-3-1, which is too far ahead of the rest of his team, stalling this Baron buff out now. Before they get back on the map, probably only going to have a minute to go.
Well, let's see just how much use they can make of it as Rikara is full up with the Scimitar being completed. Second Zeal item also done for Linsanity with a static shift finish, so he's got one slot to go, but has some handy dandy control wards in there for the time being. I mean, really, this is the time to push things for 100 Thieves. Even without the Baron, they're just so strong on the DPS front.
Yeah, like you said, you're really not going to get too much stronger. Sure, one more item for the Corki, but that's it. Rikara, completely item capped for the most part. You might see the boots get sold. And I think, I know the casters have strong opinions on what you should go after that point. You already have double Zeal items, maybe not a third, maybe Essence Beam.
Maybe. I have no opinion on the item. I believe that is Freak's expertise on Essence Beam with Tristana. I get why it's good. Insanity dives in looking for Moon, but sneaks away invisible.
And with this, no real minion waves to play with, so all this skirmishing the jungle, trying to get that vision control. Not much going to happen.
Certainly been some kind of mistiming situation. Kaizen's been persistent in these side lanes, but the rest of his team is struggling a little to coordinate and synchronize effectively. Also note that Sun is kind of recognizing the trickiness of the situation and does actually have a Glacial Shroud. So that's not going to show. That's the big one. That's a Frozen Heart. Fully upgraded.
Yeah, some ice thingy that stops attack speed, which is good.
It's very good. That's good also. Big wombo combo. Not moving through as well. Knock up on the back end as there's Rikara is CC'd up forever, but it's not enough for a kill. They need more as the feathers pull back. Good stuff there into two. Vulcan dives back in and zips out as Eclipse. Unstoppable. Flashing on, but oh my god, Rikara shuts that all down as the Xayah falls. Insanity still alive, and this is the problem. If you can't kill them, they will kill you.
3 quick kills answered back on the side of 100 Thieves after a very clean engage on the side of Clutch Gaming, and it still looks scary as Kaizen teleported in Mini-Gnar form. Should have been a good fight, but Eclipse gets way, way too aggressive. Until you have killed the backline members, you cannot really afford to go in like that. Linsanity and Rikara instantly punish him, and once your primary damage threat is down, there's no hope for Clutch Gaming to be able to win that fight.
Pretty big death time is here as well. The minute hit is going to fall. They are going to go for it here. At least going to try and do damage to these Nexus turrets.
No more wave clear really available, using the minion to keep it alive with the teleport. First, Nexus turret down.
One turret down, 10 seconds on some of the carries here. Not up yet though. Second next turret gone. Another attempt there by Vulcan, but it's very futile as the charm lands, but Insanity just collects the credit for the kill. Almost an ace here as Eclipse respawns, but the Nexus does go down. Sealed, deal sealed there by 100 Thieves Academy.
100 Thieves are able to clutch that game out against Clutch Gaming Academy. It was a very back and forth game. You saw how close those fights were, 2-3 for the most part over the course of the game. A big flaw there at the end by Eclipse gets punished, and as a result, they're able to take that game. We
were looking, though, for the strength in the bot lane to come through. Certainly was, but Insanity also having a great performance. Kind of that dual carry setup there for 100 Thieves looking very, very strong, especially if games are going to go a bit longer. You get a chance to scale. You're free farming against a tank like Galio. I can kind of see why Corki maybe should start slipping up into these drafts a little more, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of scary champion. You can play it pretty aggressively, too. I mean, it scales very well, but you get those packages. It's hard to do it against the comp that was on the Clutch Gaming side, but against some others, you might be able to pull off a lot of bot lane dives with it, and there's a lot of tanks in the meta right now.
Certainly are. We'll take a look at some of the action here in this game in just a short moment. Again, the team fights, even with the beautiful godlike setups coming out, the fact that that last engagement was not enough to win that team fight is ludicrous to me.
Yeah, you see, this great combination on people fighting for vision control. You get the double knockup, but hey, it's only on frontliners. And we saw multiple times over this game, even the other way, when they were trying to jump onto Max Strobo, not necessarily able to kill him. Here, it's the Alistar and the J4. J4 is able to flash out of this chain CC combo, or EQ out, excuse me. In the meantime, Alistar has his ultimate on, so despite how low they get, able to live for a very long time. Rikara and Linsanity just pumping in damage here. Despite those members getting low, Eclipse suddenly flashes forward for Rikara. Linsanity instantly pops him as a result. Now he's able to kite out, pops that honey fruit just to make sure he's going to stay alive. And then Rikara rejoins this fight, chased down all too easy once you saw that small mistake out of the animated carry.
Watching that back, was that like Buster Shot auto and then Eclipse just exploded? That was absurd damage from Tristana.
It was mostly Rikara, which is kind of surprising with how close Linsanity was. But yeah, one big crit that late into the game does a lot of damage to someone with no resistance.
And I think you have to wonder, Clutch Gaming's draft, how much did it really hurt them here in this game? You kind of mentioned it, kind of an awkward team comp. You've got this Kha'Zix, which is a great champion for Moon. Galio has been a very popular, high-priority champion all day, really, today here in Academy. But one tank trying to do some sort of late game fight against all those carries maybe feels like something a bit more standard could have been more effective.
It felt like the kind of game where if they were able to generate a fairly substantial lead during the laning phase, their comp could be fine. It's this dive comp. You have so much damage and CC coming in. It should be good. But the Galio didn't really get any proactive plays off, fell behind. They ended up losing the game.
Well, 100 Thieves successful there. To hear more about that victory, I'd like to welcome Wyan to the broadcast via Skype. Wyan, how you going?
Doing pretty good. Finally happy to get another win after a series of pretty sad defeats, I think. I feel like a lot of our games were close, so I'm finally happy to be able to close one out.
Absolutely, and you were one of the key members in this game, of course, and you and Rikara in general are what a lot of people look at in this team, as you had proven synergy previously on GCU, now moving here. Do you feel like there's any pressure on you two in particular in the team?
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the team is rookies for now, since Levi isn't here still, so I think a lot of the leading is up to me and Rikara, since we are the most experienced. It's not really much of a big deal for us because I have a lot of faith in him, and we just have a lot of faith in each other, so we're able to carry the team a lot through mid game and in late game scenarios as well.
I feel like in general, the setup in this game was just so good. As far as drafting goes, do you guys have a coach that's responsible for that? And who kind of put together this draft? Because it just felt like at the end of that game, with how strong your carries were, there was just nothing the other team could really do.
Yeah, so just this game, we were up pretty late last night talking with our coach and just the entire team in general, trying to discuss what we wanted to do for draft. And I guess the biggest point was just don't let Moon have Evelynn, and I think the rest of it will be fun from there.
Were you concerned at all with the Galio first pick? You know, you guys had to take the Jarvan away to separate them. What's Galio been like in your experience? Because it seems like it's come flying back to the meta into becoming one of the priority mid laners.
Yeah, Galio has been pretty picked recently a lot, so we weren't necessarily worried about it. I think our carries know pretty well how to play around him, so as long as we had the stronger backline, I don't think we were really afraid of what other picks they'd bring out.
Cool. So it's great to hear you talk about kind of, you being a leader for this team. And 100 Thieves, you say you're relieved to kind of pick up another win. As far as, it's still early in the season, now 3 weeks through, but what are kind of your team's goals and then your personal goals moving through the rest of the season?
I think as a team, I'm pretty sure we all just want to make playoffs and try and win that. Personally, I want to just kind of prove myself and show that I'm able to be LCS worthy after this split, later on through the split, so that's what I'm trying to achieve, really. Well,
certainly on track so far. Thank you so much for joining us, Wayne, and have a good night. Congratulations once again on the victory. Looking good. I mean, we had a lot of question marks, I think, for 100 Thieves, but answered almost all of them.
Yeah, and kind of what we expected with the bot lane being the main focus. They were the two that really stepped up, with Linsanity as well having a pretty good performance. It's a good sign for them that they do have other people who can step up, and like you said, still waiting on the arrival of Levi.
Oh, baby, that's going to be a fun one there when he does finally arrive. But until then, we're 3 games deep, but there's a lot more League to come. When we return, FlyQuest goes head-to-head with Team Liquid. Stay tuned for more Academy League. As Kitsua is going to try and make it happen here. Eclipse is low. Great flash up, but that's not enough. The follow flash was massive from the Jarvan. Wyan pops the ulti, gets the stun. Here comes On, going to try and seal it off. Max Trophy just straight up gets a kill. Flank attempt there from Moon, but he pops a stopwatch there. His son charges in with the ultimate. Now looking for a big taunt, finds a couple there. Rikara, though, left as Eclipse finally takes a Kitsua. Wyan take it down to it. He goes into stasis. The ulti out flying as that's pop on the Sun. He goes down to Wyan, who's picking up kills as the Alistar. Moon, though, looking for the assassination. Oh, goodbye! No, Linsanity lives with the root on the other end. Could seal the deal. Ult there saved by Xayah. Very well used to take down the Corki. That's still Rikara going in, gets on a killing spree, takes down Max Provo. Vulcan, the next target, the easy double there as Rikara finally breaks that stopwatch. Vulcan dives back in and zips out as Eclipse. Unstoppable, flashing on, but oh my god, Rikara shuts that all down as the